Warning: All Things Crime is a true crime production that may contain violent or disturbing material. Viewer or listener discretion is advised.
It's pretty amazing that left to their own devices, kids especially, will rapidly deteriorate into just the basic survival mode. And ironically, many adults are not far from that. And I think as society breaks down, we've already seen it. You know, if you think about the very beginning of this whole COVID thing, think about what happened when people thought for some insane reason that they were going to run out of toilet paper. Oh my Lord, you would have thought that it was life or death for some of these people to get as much toilet paper as they could possibly get. And if they didn't gather 100 rolls or 100 packages of toilet paper, then life as they knew it was going to end. Hey guys, it's Jared here. I am out in the San Francisco Bay Area, and I'm out here on a trip. We had a training and then a demo of the MVAC, and I thought I'd also make a quick All Things Crime episode and wrap up my series, The Evil, the Beast, and the Buffet. So I know some of you have been really anticipating, the final chapter of the episode of this, and so wanted to get this knocked out. And I think enough things are happening that we can really understand my thoughts about what the beast and the buffet are now. I hope everything has made sense on the different levels of evil, and you can actually apply those and see all the different things that's happening in society and around the world to really understand where this evil is coming from and what's inspiring it, and kind of categorize things. But the interesting thing about evil itself is a lot of times, rather than just creating evil and, you see acts of evil, there's almost a lack of goodness. And the third level of evil, that kind of, there's numerous ways to unleash the beast, and the third level of evil does that. And unleashing the beast can happen either directly or indirectly through inaction. And I think depending on who the person is or who the type of person is, they will unleash the beast in different ways. And I think both of them are equally damaging. But anyway, let's get into it. So, the beast really is anything that has the potential to get out of control, that deprives people of their freedoms and agency. And again, all of this is really about agency. What choice do you as an individual have to make your own decisions, to make your own path in life, to make your own decisions about your family and your career and your future and what you spend your money on? Those are all individual decisions that you should have the freedom to choose however you want to spend it. If you earn the money, you should be able to spend it however you want. There's some people that disagree with you. And frankly, those people, depending on your level of resistance, they will ratchet up their efforts to deprive you of that more and more, depending on, how determined you are to maintain your freedoms. So let's talk about this a little more. And I think it might help you understand kind of my thought process behind this. And if you guys have any kind of disagreements with it, hey, I want to hear it. You know what? And also, I would love it if you guys would subscribe to either this video cast, if you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, make sure to subscribe and like it and share it. That'd be awesome. I'd really appreciate it. So, okay, let's talk about really the beast. So I think the best way to describe it is really if you think about the movie or the book Lord of the Flies. So essentially what that's about, and it kind of started, the author originally wrote it as just almost like a post-World War II. So Britain was being bombed, and these kids were fleeing the island, and they were in a plane, and a plane crashed, and I don't know, out in the Caribbean or something out there somewhere where it's kind of a jungle island, and the kids, like prepubescent, early teenager, 12, 13, 14-year-olds were the only ones that survived. Well, throughout the movie especially, it depicts how these kids immediately started moving to a tribal system and how they started dividing up and almost going into different sects. And now they did establish some rules and established, it was requirement to, as their kids, of course. So it was a requirement to have some fun. It was a requirement to obviously survive. But one of the main requirements was they recognized that they needed to be rescued. And so they wanted to set a fire and have this fire burning 24/7 so that if any ships passed the island, they would be recognized and be able to be rescued. Well, as the movie progressed, these kids became more and more carnal, and their society that they had set up, which initially started very inclusive, very everybody was part of the tribe. They found a big conch shell, and so the shell, whoever had the shell, was able to talk, and everybody else was supposed to be quiet while this person, whoever held the shell, was speaking. And but then, and everybody had responsibilities. Everybody was contributing. Well, really, very quickly, a lot of the kids started being lazy. They weren't contributing. They weren't trying to find food. They weren't helping build shelter. They weren't gathering water. They weren't doing the basic things that was required to contribute to their society. And it's interesting that that's really the natural man. That's really, if you boil it all down to it, short of kids that are really hungry, they will get lazy. And, we see it every day. I mean, I've got kids that if I didn't actually assign them chores, my wife and I, and if we didn't enforce those chores, there's Saturday mornings where, we'll assign the chores, and then we got to check on them multiple times. Honestly, if they just buckle down, they could be done with their chores in 10, 15 minutes, but it'll take them hours and hours to get it done, and lots of whining, and they're like, oh my gosh, this is so terrible. I got to vacuum the living room? Really? It's just horrible. I got to clean the bathroom. The one that I pee all over. Oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. I can't believe I have to do all that. So it's pretty amazing that left to their own devices, kids especially will rapidly deteriorate into just the basic survival mode. And ironically, many adults are not far from that. And I think as society breaks down, we've already seen it. If you think about the very beginning of this whole COVID thing, think about what happened when people thought, for some insane reason, that they were going to run out of toilet paper. Oh my Lord, you would have thought that it was life or death for some of these people to get as much toilet paper as they could possibly get. And if they didn't gather, 100 rolls of or 100 packages of toilet paper, then life as they knew it was going to end. I don't know what that was, but somewhere the rumor control got out of control. And, but if you think about that, and also anytime there's scarcity, the society really has trouble maintaining its order. And even, let's see, back in I can't remember what year it was actually, but Cabbage Patch dolls. Think about some of the videos we saw, man, it seems like every Black Friday, somewhere there's a Walmart or a Target or some kind of a store that the minute that they actually open up their doors, it's like a flood of people come in, and there are people literally fist fighting over a certain type, transformer or a Cabbage Patch doll or a TV set, something. And it's like, are you people insane? What is so important that you would literally hit another person over a doll or over a toy that you think your kid has to have that Christmas, or else that kid is just going to die? Well, that right there is, I don't know if we can name it this way, but it's basically the Lord of the Flies syndrome, where people will rapidly reduce themselves to almost just animals. And, we've seen it. So many of you probably have examples that I'm not bringing up, and feel free to comment in the in the different under the podcast or video cast, and comment and give me an example of things that you've seen where people will break down, and it happens really fast. So that tendency that we have to break down to our very basics really fast is what's really required. Because of that, that's why it's so important for society to have rules that everybody agrees to, and that there's actually people that are moral and just that enforce them. And that's really what it boils down to, why we need law enforcement, why we need leaders like politicians, mayors, whoever's the leader of the tribe. They have to be moral people. And most of the time, without believing in some kind of a higher power, most people can't function long term without being accountable to a higher power, which is why it's so important that especially like country governments like the United States, like if the federal government completely takes God out of government, which lots of people are trying really hard to do. They take prayers out of schools. It's insane. But when you do that, and all you're doing is relying on man, we know how fast man can break down, and it can happen. Depending on the urgency of the moment. I saw videos of people literally fist fighting over toilet paper. So if you don't think it could happen, right now we're in the middle of shortages. We got all these ships that are sitting out off of Long Beach and off of LA, container ships with all these supplies and things. Some of it's, just toys and crap, but some of it, I guarantee, is stuff that's going to be really important for society to function. And if that isn't delivered pretty soon and getting on trucks and put out in the stores, so if the stores start becoming empty, the shelves are empty, you watch what people do. And we're going to see some crazy videos here in the next few months if this doesn't get fixed really fast. And it's interesting that President Biden had this meeting with FedEx and UPS and these other shipping companies and Walmart. And I hope these CEOs are smart and understand what's going on, because in my opinion, that entire thing was set up for the Biden administration to turn around and blame these companies, the shipping companies, for this disaster, as opposed to actually taking responsibility and really moving it toward, the real reasons that this stuff's happening. Why all of a sudden there's a shortage of supplies and stuff that's going to be on the shelves, right before Christmas. Yeah, it's ugly. So some people are saying that they're causing it because they want more pressure to pass this massive 3.5 trillion infrastructure bill. And, I don't know about the veracity of that, but if that's the reason for it, that's a level of evil that I'm not sure we've addressed yet, but it would definitely fit in that third level of evil. So back to the